I finished my A-levels 10 years ago, and over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything that I have done since in my career, from my teaching journey to where I am today, life beyond the classroom. So, taking it back to when I was 18, I finished my A-levels with physics, English, and biology, and then I actually had a place at Brighton University to do primary education. I did the 5 to 11 3-year university degree. However, I did actually defer my entry. So straight after my A-levels, I took a gap year. Sticking to the childcare theme, I actually was an au pair in America for the whole year, for 12 months officially as an au pair, and then I had a travel month at the end. I could do a whole video on this experience. I had the absolute best time. I loved mixing like travel and childcare together. I am from quite a small town, so to have the opportunity to live like near Washington DC in America where I lived was insane and just amazing to experience like the city life and to meet so many different people from like different cultures. I had so many friends who were also au pairs, but from like different countries around the world. And it was actually quite exciting to be able to take that experience and take it with me to my teaching as well. So realistically, this was my first full-time job. I had a lot of childcare experience before from like babysitting and children's parties and all that stuff, but this was my first full-time, like Monday to Friday with the kids. I would sort out their like morning routine, get them ready for school. When they went to school, I would then have like some laundry and stuff to do, but then pretty much have the day to myself. I was also doing a course there. I went to like a community college. I did a Spanish course, and yeah, I was basically just exploring. I really got into the gym. That's when I first properly started going to the gym. Well, like 10 years ago. It was the first time I really like had time to myself to kind of figure out what my interests were. I could have quite happily stayed another year because I was offered to stay and I could have with my visa, but I had already deferred my entry to university. So back to England I go 1 year later to start my 3-year primary teaching degree. I absolutely adored living in Brighton for the 3 years. I love living by the ocean. I feel like possibly that might have to come back. I'm not sure. I don't know where I'll end up, but I'm currently based in London. So yeah, 3 years at Brighton. I won't go into the details of the course, but if you have questions, I would absolutely love to answer them and perhaps do like a whole Q&A on it. But you go into lectures, seminars, but then you also have placement each year. And every year the placement gets longer and you build up to more responsibilities as basically just teaching a whole class by the end of it. I then graduated in 2019 with a first class honours, so a bachelor honours degree in primary education. And I went straight back to my hometown, sponged off my dad with some low rent for the next couple of years. Post graduation, I went straight into a job that September, starting with my own class. I actually documented a lot of my teaching journey. I'll leave some videos down below, but I have a whole other channel where I recorded like classroom tours, weekly vlogs, and days in the life of a teacher. So I will leave that all linked down below if you're interested. 2.5 years later, I actually left the classroom and I did film this whole video explaining why I left and what the new journey and new opportunity was. I actually haven't rewatched that, so I'll be intrigued to see what I actually say, but I'll link that down below as well. Basically, I had this incredible opportunity to homeschool a child, and this was just so exciting to me. Obviously, I was in a small town. I wanted a bit more excitement, and as I was so young, I knew I could always go back to the classroom if I wanted to. I wanted to have this like adventure and crazy experiences whilst I could. So I said yes to the opportunity for a full spring term. So from January up until like the Easter holidays, I believe, I was working abroad with a family, homeschooling a year 5-year-old boy. This whole experience basically consisted of me living in Colorado for 3 months, and I was homeschooling a child whilst they were traveling. So they came out of school for like a full like term, like 2 half terms, and they had me instead. They did also have a few like online tutors for specific things, but basically it was me like teaching them the curriculum, and I had some work from their school and certain things they had to learn. So it was my job to kind of plan how I taught him that and make sure he gets through all the work. Not only did I have teaching responsibilities, but I also had nanny responsibilities. So as well as the teaching aspect and marking and all those things, I was also doing things that I was doing as an au pair. I was helping with the morning and evening routines. I was just general like children entertainment, playing games with them, going places with them. There was a lot of like organizing their schedule from like all their different activities, their family activities, and then the things that they were doing with us, because me and this other nanny. So Colorado was a base for them. However, they were traveling around too, and I would go on most of those trips. So we'd help with the packing, and then we would go to, for example, like Miami for the weekend, or we would go around the Caribbean for like a week. So we were still doing the school work like in the morning, say, and then we'd have like fun activities in the afternoon, and then they would have like family time, so I'd get some like time off. It was pretty crazy, I'm not going to lie, and it's kind of opened my eyes to like a whole nother world of childcare and education, completely different to obviously what I trained for and like what I was expecting to go into. So once that opportunity ended, I was kind of left thinking like, like what is this new world that I've entered? Like, do I go back to teaching in the classroom, or do I kind of experiment and see what I can get from all of these different opportunities? So after trialing a few families and having some interviews, I ended up accepting one in London. It is a full-time Monday to Friday salary role, and I am basically a nanny slash tutor. The specific position is called a governess. And basically the family I had in Colorado, they had chefs, they had security and drivers, and they had cleaners, everything. This time I am all of those things. So I cook, I clean, I do extra tuition, and I also do like nanny duties, like morning, evening routines. And when the kids are not at school, they have me all day to like as childcare. That's how you do it.
Okay, Micah.
We like do activities, and I take them to extracurricular activities. So that is basically what I'm doing now. I have been doing it for the past 3 years. With regards to like the teaching side of the job, basically at the beginning, one of the children were doing their 11 plus exams. So basically there's these really big exams that they have to take to get into a really good school, like the private school. So I was basically helping with extra tuition with that. That was a big push for the first like year and a half of my role. Then once they finished the exams, they got into their school, the top choice, very proud. We then just continued with like homework help and like general test and exam revision. We've just gone through May, and one of the kids had all the end of term exams, end of year exams. So that was a big push recently. Just different things like that. Homework, exams, revision, extra stuff. That's the whole like teaching side of it, but it's definitely not as much as it was back when I did the homeschooling, because obviously they have teachers at school. So moving on to what I'm doing next. So I'm still working with the family that I have been with for almost 3 years now, but I get a lot of time in the day to do extra things whilst they're at school. And the way I've been spending my time is through going through my own wellness and health journey. As I mentioned, on my gap years when I really first started getting into the gym and fitness. Over the years, it's just developed more and more. When I was at university, I would go to the gym before placement. So I would go to the gym, and then I would do a whole day of teaching, and then probably just pass out at the end of the day or do some uni work. But I was really starting to get into the flow of doing both, because I have always been really into health and fitness and obviously looking after myself. So I always made that a priority when I was teaching. The first year and a half of teaching, I did really struggle to find this balance. I was trying so hard to just be better and do more and like prove myself, which I just don't think is the case, and you shouldn't have to do. And it wasn't until I started to learn how to set boundaries and find a work-life balance, prioritizing my own health as much as I was prioritizing my work. And as soon as I was able to do that, I found that my teaching was so much better, and also I was just more energized to do my job. As the years went by, I got more and more interested. I started reading all these books and listening to podcasts and just learning as much as I could about everything to do with health and fitness. So then I ended up doing a online course in health coaching, and I am just so excited now to use what I've learned from that to help more people find a balance in life and achieve their health and wellness goals. But what I wanted most was to go back to my teaching roots and just niche down into teachers. Like, I want to be helping teachers get to the point that I was in when I was teaching, finding that healthy balance and actually enjoying their job rather than resenting it. So that leaves me to where I am today. I have just started the Teacher Wellness Club. If you haven't already, check out my previous video because I introduced the Teacher Wellness Club and basically express my mission and my vision for the whole platform. Using my health coaching qualification, all my experience from how I have personally overcome all of these challenges, and everything I've learned from all the health and wellness things I've been doing over the past few years, I am going to be doing health coaching for teachers specifically. I will be taking on one-on-one clients. So if you are interested, then I will definitely leave all the information down below. If you are not wanting one-to-one health coaching, that is absolutely fine. I'm trying to help as many people as I can. So I have created this online platform. I will be posting health and wellness videos on here. I will also be documenting the journey of like building up a Teacher Wellness Club because I have like so many plans for this in the future. So thinking short term for Teacher Wellness Club, I am doing a weekly newsletter called the Sunday Scaries to send to teachers every Sunday just to redefine the Sunday Scaries. I don't want it to be a scary evening where you're dreading the rest of the week. I want you to like finish reading that email and just feel so excited and like ready and raring to go. Like a new week, bring it on. Teacher Wellness Club is a platform for teachers like you to communicate, to talk about all things health and wellness, share amazing ideas. I will also obviously be sharing the ideas that I have, simple strategies that you can do each week to make your life a little easier and to start prioritizing your own health as much as you are prioritizing your classroom and your work. I did say I was going to tell you everything in 10 minutes. I did slightly go over that. So I will leave everything else down below. Please take some time to just check the links and sign up for the newsletter. I can't wait to send you little notes every week to make you feel a little bit more calm and motivated. Thank you so much for watching. I am really excited and I hope you join us on this journey. Together, we are going to wipe out teacher burnout and just redefine teacher wellness. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!